FTTH. Of course, we have to reconcile the respective needs for the agencies who will look into the technical specifications for NGN, whether it's by the roadside, whether it involves existing dwelling area or housing area or even industrial zones. You are looking at different requirements. GKR, MPPP, MPSP will be looking at a different requirement. Number one is that you have abundant utilities already planted underground for many, many years, many decades. So the requirement is for you to look at whether the current utility corridor is sufficient to support further implementation of utilities underground which are under your care. So this is where the initial interest that impact on GKR, NPPP, NPSP will be. But further to that, that's because the local councils, you have all the real estate developers will have to go through two processes, Kebenaran Merancang as well as Kebenaran Bangunan. When you have these two together, usually it's put into deliberation under one-stop center within the respective local authorities, and whereby input from JKR, apart from others like Bomba, MCMC, will be critical. But when it comes to the point where we require professional input on telecommunication infrastructure, the specifications, that will further impact onto another community who is not here today, basically the M&E consultants, as well as the planners and even surveyors. We will try to engage them on different platforms, but actually this is also where the OSC covering the two local councils will be very, very important. And one of the key takeoff for after today's workshop is that you don't have to knock on the door of telecommunication or knock on the door of Telecom Malaysia. You have so many service providers to look at and whatever that suits you. But when it comes to deployment of fiber optics network in Penang, especially on the island, as well as the fast developing zones in Seberang Perai, it seems that there are other operators apart from Telecom Malaysia which have gone way in advance, which this piece of information may not have been shared with you efficiently. So we just want to put all these things into perspective. But for other agencies such as master developer for Batu Kawan, for example, master developer for New Township, involvement, input from the various agencies and the authorities are required, from the professional bodies are required. But when it comes to actual deployment, you want to look at cost-saving measures. You want to look at best practices that have been adopted in other parts of the world where fiber optic networks have been at the forefront in countries like Sweden, in countries like Korea, and I don't even want to mention New Zealand at this part. I do not know, because I've not been there to look at, take a good look, but I've been to countries like Japan, South Korea, even Singapore. They have really adopted a lot of good practices, and this piece of information is what we aspire to share with master developers like PDC and so on. But for the trade promotion body like Invest Penang, we want them to know and we want them to be updated on what is being planned in Penang and what we'll have in terms of support as we move along in the next 2 critical years when it comes to the deployment of fiber optics and network. That's where we are putting all these components together from ground zero. And this is where that for today we showcase a few of this expertise in hand, but moving forward, if there are requests from the agencies, from the authorities, local authorities, from the master builder or master developer of New Township Industrial Zone. If you need technical input, we'll be delighted to be of assistance. And moving forward, one of the big plans under PTC Telco is that we're not only looking at ourselves in helping the state government and the CMI to move forward in terms of the journey involved in this common trenching. Common trenching is just the basic infrastructure, but there are a lot of value layers that we can build together without additional cost, that we can create this applications level, services level that can benefit all of us, whether it's at residential, industrial, or commercial zones. So that is our key takeoff. So I would like to pass the mic to members from the floor. If you have any questions, please come forward. And then please tell us your needs, or what are the doubts, what are the blind spots in terms of this knowledge sharing that you would like us to further on. And PTC will also be organizing, we try our level best to do it on a quarterly basis. We did one November 8th last year and November 5th last year, and we are doing again here today, March the 5th, exactly 3 months later. We're going to plan for another one, targeting at different segments of the industry, so that the idea, the expertise involved, the knowledge involved behind NGN and FTTH will be disseminated. Perhaps we take the first question.
So we open the mics to the floor. There are 2 mics. You can just approach, introduce yourself, and then pose the question. If you have a question for a specific member of the speaking panel in front, you can mention their name, and they will try their best to answer. Please.
Perhaps we'll break the ice. We'll get the speakers, to offer the famous last words, perhaps, starting with perhaps from the furthest end. We heard about this. In my brief speech, I mentioned about the building blocks towards building a functional, fully operational fiber to the home, as well as this fiber optics based next generation network. You certainly need people with the right knowledge, skill, and competency to help you deploy, so that you are aware of the direction that you are moving on, so that you can cut a lot of costs along the way, minimize on mistakes and so on. And training and development is basically one of the key things, which is still emerging, but the expertise are already there, and that's where ABEX comes in with the kind of keen collaboration with FTTH Council. Perhaps that will deal KK.
Today's, I think most of the audience will be from the JKH and officers. Of course, I think most of you heard about the FTTH fiber to the home, but maybe for the actually hand-ons and the design, how the device setting up, the infra, how the infra of the fibers going to the homes and to the buildings, and I think all this is a kind of a knowledge that you might need off before you do some costing and designing on that. So with this, we have some good knowledge on, especially on some commissioning, installation, and testing solution. With this, we should be able to share with you more if you like.
Additionally, if there is anything that Sumitomo can ABEX do, Sumitomo does have experience in the installation work in Japan, United States, and the EMEA region. If we can use this know-how and use it for Penang, we'll be here anytime, so please contact us.
So we actually hate to become the obstacle between you and lunch right now, but I'm going to make this quick. Okay, the council is always there to help. We are non-profit, we are neutral. Actually this morning, I brought along a friend who drove with me at 4:30 in the morning, Mr. Kang at the back. We call him the master installer. He installs anything and everything. He has practical, really practical on-field experience. So during your free time, please go over there, ask him anything you want. He'll be happy to share. He's a very good friend of us. So anything at all, please feel free to contact us. We'll be more than happy to provide you with anything. Thank you.
I think most of the thing has been said, but I just want to address some concerns about the service providers. You know, this is the real concerns of the developers, the property owners. The fact that some providers are not able to come into the specific areas because of the lack of infrastructure to reach the place. This is the real concerns, and that is one of the reasons why many developers goes to the big providers. They are more sure to get this service. But at the same time, we are helping. We are not helping the industry to grow in more competitive basis. But I think for Penang and also any other place, there are a few basic things that need to be in place, and I think this will take some time. The road, I think this is the planners for the roads. Please, we have to be assured that there is a duct, telecommunication duct, built together with the roads. For any new roads and so on, that has to be done. If you don't do that, then we are going to suffer for a long, long time. That's the issue. For the existing road, I think that's where the challenge to the PDC Telco to build that ducts, to create this enough fiber ducts throughout Penang so that it's easy for service providers to come in. The other challenge that being faced is for the old buildings where there are coppers and so on. I think the presentation by Sumitomo just now gave a good solution to such a problem where existing pipes can be used without much of a problem. But I think there are solutions to this, and we have enough expertise on the ground to assist existing building owners to retrofit their building for fiber optics service, you know, for the future. But for the new building, I think it is just to say again that it is absolutely necessary to go into the fiber options rather than staying in the copper options. There's no reason not to do it, in my views. So that, but one challenge that we are facing is the consultants. You know, that many consultants are not familiar with the fiber optics. This is the part that the building owners, developers has to insist that the M&E consultant has to go take extra miles to get the necessary info to recommend based on new practice in order to push for the fiber to the home installations. You know. Otherwise, they just take the standards, 20 years old design, and then install for you, and then you are going to suffer for the next 20 years. So that is the message that I want to give, especially for the new developers. Thank you.
For standard operating procedure, comment trenching just now presented is just general, but anyway you can go through the details which is print and hand over to all the participants. In case you need any clarify or discussion regarding the comment trenching, you can call PDC Telco, and we try our best to guide you how to do a good construction with good qualities on site. Thank you.
Perhaps I take the opportunity to wrap up a few things. Most of the expertise about NGN and MTTH are in Kuala Lumpur or beyond. Sometimes it's in Singapore, in Japan, Australia. Senco is based in Australia. PDC Telco will be putting all resources together to bring forth all this expertise closer to the home, nearer to the home, so that it will be available to be shared with the communities, professional communities, regulators, agencies, the speed fraternity, so that all these expertise are within reach within Penang. So we are looking at setting up a center of excellence for all things NGN, all things fiber to the home for the coming year. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to the standard operating procedure, we have tested it out in the last 10 months or so, and he has been working very closely. We have been working very closely with MPPP as well as GKR, the two districts. And for this year, we look forward to more collaboration with MPSP as well as the three districts, Seberang, Perai, SPT, SPU, and SPS, so that all those good practices adopted in Penang Island can be shared and can be implemented in a wholesome manner between the strait. The third thing is that we are looking at creating the pool of talents, pool of contractors with the competency. Training is one very important component. Retraining is equally important, and that's where we wanted to partner organizations like ABEX to have this certified, verified competency to be made available in Penang, to be shared by all the stakeholders in the fraternity. And it's always an honor to have the opportunity of working together with an NSP, NFP, Malaysian Neutral Transmission Sdn Bhd, that is under Dr. Muhammad Awang Lah, and also the FTTH Council. We have been working very closely on the Batu Kawan industrial project, and that is going to be a test bed of how things can be done so that it becomes a showcase for all of us in Penang. But we are also working together with the FTTH Council Asia Pacific to look for a good candidate in Penang to retrofit their condominiums, so spread the news around developers and the local authorities. We are looking for a good candidate to retrofit those copper-based high-rise buildings into fiberized buildings, so that values can be added, things can be done, and you really enhance the rental potential as well as enhance the value of the resale potential for the property owner. I also would like to take this opportunity to thank Fiber to the Home Council Asia Pacific for having given us an opportunity to become a member of this elite body, which is non-profit, and we really thank you. We would like to be a member of FTTH Council as soon as possible. So with that, the take-home message is that when you're planning for your housing developers, or when the regulators are meeting over the one-stop center deliberation to approve, reject, or tunai syarat for all the development plans, whether it's at kebenaran merancang or kebenaran bangunan stage, please always bear in mind that PDC Telco is here together with Fiber to the Homes as well as MyNewTrans to be of service, to even endorse plans that we are licensed to do in order to help everybody to move forward towards fiber. And regarding the benefits and the future long-term gain in having a fiberized building, fiberized property versus copper is well articulated, and if you need additional comparison, especially for the real estate developers, please do contact us for the price comparison, for example, of the best practices that we can adopt by partnering all the global suppliers. But when it comes to regulatory measures, the official function, local authorities as well as JKR, if you need further input about technical specifications involved in NGN, fiber to the homes, and even the utility implementation of newer utility on the utility corridor, do contact us. I'd like to thank JKR as well for giving us advance notice that the road system will be expanded somewhere near the Pisa area. Pisa, as everybody knows, it's going to be transformed into a world-class convention center. With that demand and with the target date of utilization by 2015, JKR has the foresight of enlarging the road pavement, and with that we have also to relocate some of the utilities right now, and PDC Telco has been put onto this communication loop. With that we are very thankful, because we are reading from the same page now, moving towards having the next generation network all laid, all well coordinated, so that we can implement it without any wastage in terms of cost and resources. So with that, thank you so much for coming, and it take pleasure to invite you to a simple lunch. Thank you very much.
Okay, begin for our panel speakers once again. The buffet lunch is already ready outside the foyer area. The seating area will be back here inside the room, and you have your